Now, now this discovery made astonished her, it surprised her, and Loisel, already half dressed, asked, "What is the matter?" She turned towards him excitedly. I have no longer have Madame Forster's necklace. Now she was being out of her surprise, and she was being distressed also, and that in a very excited manner she shared that I have not found that necklace, it is not with me now. So he arose in dismay. Finally, he was also disheartened. What? How is that? It is not possible. So he also felt, he also lost his heart knowing this, that the necklace has been missing, and he was not able to grasp this aspect that probably it is not possible, that how you have lost that and where it has been lost. And they looked in the folds of the dress, in the folds of the cloak, in the pockets, everywhere. They could not find it. So finally they were in a search, they started searching right from there itself, started searching the dress, the wrap, the pockets, and everywhere they could, and finally they were in a state that they were unable to find that necklace anywhere. He asked, "You are sure you still had it when we left the minister's house?" Now he was been inquiring and looking for whether you had seen that necklace before leaving the party or not. "Yes, I felt it as we came out. But if you had lost it in the street, we should have heard it fall. It must be in the cab." So they started working out that where that necklace must have dropped. Now, as Matilda was saying that she felt that she was carrying that necklace when she left the party. Now that is why Mr. Loisel, he was been looking for that probably it must have fallen in the cab, because if it would have fallen on the street, there must be a sound, it must have struck the ground, and we would have come to know about it. Okay. "Yes, it is possible. Did you take the number?" "No." "And you? Did you notice what it was?" "No." They both were been asking about the whereabout of that cab, so that they can identify the cab. Now, no, they looked at each other, utterly cast down. Finally, Loisel dressed himself again. "I am going," he said, "over the track where we went on foot to see if I can find it." So finally, Loisel had decided, Monsieur Loisel, that he should go and search for it, and he was been going on foot so that he can just search out, scan the complete route which they have been into for the complete night, and wherever they have gone actually, and he was been in the, he was with an intention to, if they could find that necklace somewhere. And he went. She remained in her evening gown, not having the force to go to bed. Finally, she was also been disheartened losing that necklace, and that is why she was unable to sleep, and she was still there in her evening gown. Towards 7 o'clock her husband returned. He had found nothing. So finally, Monsieur Loisel, he did not find anything, he did not find that necklace. He went to the police and the cab offices and put an advertisement in the newspapers offering a reward. So finally, Monsieur Loisel, he found, he declared all a reward in the newspaper. He made a complaint also in the police office. So she waited all day in a state of bewilderment before this frightful disaster. Loisel returned in the evening, his face pale. He had discovered nothing. So, out of complete working, making a complaint, giving a notice in the cab office also, he did not find there, nothing resulted positive, and he did not find in anywhere about any information about that necklace. He said, write to your friend that you have broken the clasp of the necklace and that you will have it repaired. That will give us some time. So, finally, he found out a way that he asked Matilda to inform her friend by writing a letter that it has damaged, the necklace has damaged and they need some time, it will take some time to repair that necklace. So, that finally, they will find some time so that they can work out how they can or they can search that necklace, or they can find out the look-alike necklace. Now, she wrote as he dictated. At the end of a week, they had lost all hope, and Loisel, older by 5 years, declared, we must replace this jewel. Now, finally, after a tedious search, after scanning wherever possible, after searching out the whereabout of that necklace, finally, after a week long search, they finally gave up and they reached a conclusion that they have not found that necklace, they were unable to find that necklace anywhere. So, finally, Loisel, he decided that now it is high time, now we need to find a look-alike necklace so that we can replace that piece of jewelry. In a shop of Palais Royal, they found a chaplet of diamonds which seemed to them excitedly like the one they had lost. It was valued at 40,000 francs. They could get it for 36,000. So, finally, they found a piece of a look-alike diamond necklace which was costing them 40,000 francs, and after after negotiating, they finally the price was been 36,000. So, finally, Loisel possessed 18,000 francs which his father had left him. He borrowed the rest, he made ruinous promises, took money from usurers and the whole race of lenders. So, basically he found all he actually took his savings out, some 18,000 francs were being his he had inherited that amount from his father, and later the rest of the amount he managed he borrowed it from the lenders, from the money lenders and from the people wherever he can find money. Finally, he managed that complete amount of 36,000. Then he went to get the new necklace, depositing on the merchant's counter 36,000 francs. So, finally, he purchased that piece of necklace which was there with that merchant after paying that amount of 36,000 francs. When Madame Loisel took back the jewels to Madame Forestier, the latter said to her in a frigid tone, you should have returned them to me sooner, for I might have needed them. Now, Mrs. Forestier, Madame Forestier, she was being a bit anxious, and she shared her dissatisfaction of that why you are being late, why probably you should have brought it earlier, so that because it was possible that I may need it in between of that time which you took to return it. Okay. So, with this finally Madame Loisel, she came back. Madame Forestier did not open the jewel box as Madame Loisel feared she would. So, Madame Loisel, she was being here, Matilda, she was being very worried that probably if she will open, if Madame Forestier, she will open the jewel box, she will come to know about the replacement of the jewelry. So, that is why she was quite anxious while she was handing over the jewel box, but she did not, Madame Forestier, she did not open the jewel box, and that is why she has not come to know that there was a replacement of the jewelry. What would she think if she should perceive the substitution? What she should say? Would she take her for a robber? Now, these were all thoughts which were been going on in Matilda's mind, that probably if she will sense that this necklace has been replaced, she will feel that she has been robbed by it, she will feel that probably they had a wrong intention for borrowing that piece of necklace, but nothing such sort happened actually, because Madame Forestier, she did not open the jewel box, she kept it as she was being given. Madame Loisel now knew the horrible life of necessity. Now, after this, after handing over that necklace, now she was being forced to live a very miserable life, that life of necessity, because she now had to repay the debt, because Monsieur Loisel, he had he had borrowed lots of money from the various sources, whatever the places, land, from the lenders, various. So, that is why now they were being forced to live a very poor life now further. She did her part, however, completely, heroically. See here, Madame Loisel, Matilda, she did not step back. She took the responsibility and she played her part in recovering out of that debt which was being imposed because of the way she lost the necklace, and she felt that she is been responsible for that situation which now they are being facing. Okay. So, it was necessary to pay this frightful debt. She would pay it. They sent away the maid, they changed their lodgings, and they rented some rooms in an attic. So, basically they changed their residence. Finally, she discontinued her maid also, and she started doing all the house chores by herself. They they shifted from their apartment and they left for a place, a place of lesser economic value, and they took a small house on rent. She learned the arduous work of a kitchen. She washed the dishes, she washed the soiled linen, their clothes and dish clothes which she hung on the line to dry. She took down the refuse to the street each morning and brought up the water, stopping at each landing to catch her breath. Now, she started doing all household work, all those tedious work, washing clothes, washing soiled dishes, and then she used to procure water also from outside. Okay. And that was all very tedious for her, and it was taking great effort on Matilda's part to actually perform all these household work. The clothed and clothed like a woman of the people, she went to the grocers, the butchers and the fruitiers with her basket on her arm, shopping, haggling to the last sou of her miserable money. So, finally, she was struggling with her life with all sorts, all the little what she was been having, so that she can come out, she can repay that all that money which they had borrowed to purchase that necklace. Now probably we can see that her life became miserable, it was hell. She was been all that time, she was been busy in all those household works which earlier she used to, she was spared from that work, she used to have a overall nice lifestyle, but now she was being going through a miserable phase of her life. Her husband worked evenings putting the books of some merchants in order, and nights he often did copying at 5 sous a page. Sous is basically is a low currency, a lower level currency than francs. Okay, like we have paisa, rupee, and then paisa, and similarly we have francs and sous. So this is a French currency, a lower currency. Okay, so Monsieur Loisel, he took 3 sets of work. He was going to his office, and after coming back he used to keep the he used to do bookkeeping for merchants, taking care of the accounts of merchants, and then he used to do copying work also. So he took 2 to 3 assignments all along, so that he can earn extra money to repay that debt. And this life lasted for 10 years. At the end of 10 years, they had restored all. So finally, it took 10 years to repay that complete set of borrow, the amount which they have borrowed from the money lenders. Madame Loisel seemed old now. She had become a strong, hard woman, the crude woman of the poor household. Now the complete way of her life, the lifestyle had completely changed. She has lost her beauty, the age, the efforts, the tedious work she was being involved for these 10 years had actually ruined her beauty, and now she, the age is been it has put its mark on her face, and she used to now she has lost all her glory and grace which she used to carry earlier in her young days. Now she has actually become a lady which was very hard, which she has become a tough lady, working very hard all those years. Now so finally, her hair badly dressed, her skirts awry, her hands red, she spoke in loud tone and washed the floors with large pails of water. So her complete, the way she used to carry was completely being changed. Her dress, hair were not being kept properly. She was unable to maintain her beauty, and hardly she was having the dress, the skirt she used to wear, it was being weared off, it was being worn, and she used to have very tough and rough hands, and everywhere that complete tedious job of her was showing its different the way on her body, on her dress, everywhere that poverty stricken aspect was being reflected. But sometimes when her husband was at the office, she would sit herself before the window and think of that evening party of former times, of that ball where she was so beautiful and so flattered. So maybe whenever she used to find time, she used to keep wondering about that party which she enjoyed the most on that evening, and she kept on thinking about that how beautifully she used to carry herself, how she got various compliment, everybody was being attracted towards her, she was looking pretty at that time, and she kept on thinking about and imagining about that, basically remembering all those beautiful moments of her life which she experienced in that party. How would it have been if she had not lost the necklace? Who knows? How singular is life, how full of changes, how small a thing will ruin or save one. Now, she also used to wonder about that how that piece of necklace, how that piece of jewelry actually changed the complete destiny of their life, and now their life has been ruined just because of that single evening, the way she the way she lost that necklace, and that was the turning point in their life. And she kept thinking about that if suppose that necklace would not have lost, if that would not have actually changed their life and made it so miserable as it happened afterwards. So she used to still remember her old days of her old lifestyle, thinking about all those beautiful moments she used to enjoy. One Sunday, as she was taking a walk in Clamps-Ilse, to rid herself of the cares of the week, she suddenly perceived a woman walking with a child. It was Madame Forestier, still young, still pretty, still attractive. So one day, when she was been walking along the lane, she just encountered with Madame Forestier, and she was very looking pretty, and she was looking she was been looking young, and she was with a child. Now, Madame Loisel was affected. Should she speak to her? Yes, certainly. And now that she had paid, she would tell her all. Why not? Now, looking to finding Madame Forestier over there on the street, she started thinking of whether she should go and talk to her. Now this is the time that now she can tell her, because now she has actually paid for her loss. Now it is not a loss for Madame Forestier, she has actually replaced that. Now she decided that she will reveal the complete story and the complete truth in front of Madame Forestier. Now with this intention, she went ahead and she greeted Madame Forestier. She approached her. Good morning, Jeannie. Her friend did not recognize her and was astonished to be so familiarly addressed by this common personage. She stammered, "But, madam, I do not know you. You must be mistaken." Now, see what exactly happened. Madame Forestier, she was very surprised to find a strange voice, and that too she was been addressing her in a very personal manner, but she was not able to recognize Matilda because she has changed altogether. She was looking very miserable at that time, and that is why she said that probably I do not recognize you, who you are, and probably you have been mistaken, that I do not know you exactly who you are. So she was not able to recognize Matilda. "No, I am Matilda Loisel." Now she identifies herself, she gives her identity to Madame Forestier. Her friend uttered a cry of astonishment. "Oh, my poor Matilda, how you have changed." So she was being surprised that why Matilda is in so poor state. What has actually made her to look so miserable? What exactly had made you to change like this? Now that what Madame Forestier was being very surprised to find Matilda in that miserable state. "Yes, I have had some hard days since I saw you, and some miserable ones, and all because of you." Now Matilda was being she started telling about that it happened when it started, that this miserable time, this unfortunate time started when I saw you last, and it was just because of you it all started. It was the point, and that is she held her responsible, not responsible, but she made actually to make her understand that because of you I had been suffering for so long time. Now, because of me, how is that? Now, Madame Forestier was quite surprised to find that she was being held responsible for Madame Loisel's miserable situation. Now, you recall the diamond necklace that you loaned me to wear to the minister's ball. Now, she started telling about that truth, what exactly happened on that evening when she wore that necklace which she borrowed from Madame Forestier. Yes, very well. Well, I lost it. How is that, since you returned it to me? Now, Madame Forestier was very surprised to find that once you have returned it, then how it is possible that you have lost the same neck piece? So, now here Matilda, she reveals the truth. I returned another to you exactly like it, and it has taken us 10 years to pay for it. You can understand that it was not easy for us who have nothing, but it is finished and I am decently content. So, finally she comes out with this complete what all happened. She replaced the necklace and she paid for that necklace, and how she managed the money, and because of that they borrowed that amount, and that is why she had, it took her 10 years to pay that complete debt which they took to replace that necklace. And now she in a very satisfied manner, now she revealed that now it is a matter of content. Now she is satisfied that she has repaid the amount. Madame Forestier stopped short. She said, you say that you bought a diamond necklace to replace mine. Now she was feeling, she was very surprised to know that this necklace which she actually gave her, returned her, was the real one. It was not the same one, and she lost, and she has actually replaced it with an original one, with a new one. Now, yes, you did not perceive it then? They were just alike. Now, Matilda, she came out that, see, you why you have not realized that it has been replaced? Actually, because it was all exactly the same. The necklace you were having and the necklace I returned you was exactly a look alike. That is why you did not realize that it has been replaced. And she smiled with proud and simple joy. Now, Matilda, revealing this fact that she replaced, she returned the necklace and she has paid for that. She was being proud of doing that, that she has not actually, she feel contented and satisfied after doing that. So, Madame Forestier was touched and took both her hands as she replied. Now, listening to this fact, Madame Forestier was being moved completely, that, and she was been in a very manner, she was been sad about, she was feeling disheartened about the miserable situation which Madame Lowe in all these 10 years, and she borrowed that big amount and then she repaid for that complete necklace. Now, what she has, now she is revealing the actual status of that necklace, and see what she says here. Oh, my poor Matilda, mine were false, they were not worth over 500 francs. Now, what she has revealed here is that actually that necklace which was borrowed by Matilda was a false, it was a pseudo necklace. Actually it was been of artificial diamond, it was not a real diamond necklace, and it was not worth enough to be paid for 36,000 francs. It was hardly a necklace which its cost was hardly 500 francs. And now she was feeling very sorry for Matilda, that why she did not reveal this fact to her earlier, and probably if she would have told her earlier, she would have told about the actual price, and she would not have suffered for those long miserable 10 years to repay that money which she borrowed for to purchase that diamond necklace. Now, with this note, finally this story ends here, and this is how the complete story reveals that how the desires and the way the dissatisfaction, the state of unhappiness of Matilda actually resulted her to fall into this situation of those all 10 years of miserable time which she experienced just because of her longing, her wish to be rich, to present herself lavish, and that is how this story gives us the message that whatever is been there in our destiny, we should feel satisfied and contented. Now, I would suggest all of you to please go through the PDF and go through the video and read the chapter, prepare it thoroughly. Thank you, students.